In the desolate heart of Siberia, on a sweltering summer morning in 1908, an unimaginable force erupted. A blast of colossal magnitude, unseen by most of humanity, flattened millions of trees, shook the earth, and ignited a mystery that baffles scientists to this very day. This is the story of the Tunguska event, a cosmic riddle etched into the Siberian taiga. Tunguska event, the Siberian mystery that shook the world, 1908. On June 30, 1908, in the remote heart of Siberia, a land of untamed wilderness and sparse settlements, an event of unprecedented scale unfolded. This vast, largely uninhabited expanse, characterized by dense taiga forests, meandering rivers, and a silence broken only by the calls of wildlife, was the unsuspecting stage for a cosmic drama. The region near the Podkamennaya Tunguska River, a tributary of the NSA, was home to a handful of enigmatic reindeer herders and a few scattered Russian homesteads, living lives in harmony with nature, far removed from the burgeoning industrial world. It was an ordinary summer morning in a place where the ordinary was defined by the relentless rhythms of the natural world, a world about to be violently and irrevocably interrupted by an unseen force from beyond. The isolation of this terrain meant that the cataclysm would go unrecorded by official channels for years, leaving the initial accounts to scattered, bewildered witnesses who could only describe the indescribable. The morning of June 30, 1908, dawned like any other in the Tunguska region. The few inhabitants were engaged in their daily routines, oblivious to the cosmic drama about to unfold. Even herders tended their reindeer, their nomadic camps stirring with the preparation of morning meals over crackling fires, the scent of wood smoke mingling with the crisp Siberian air. Russian settlers in distant trading posts or isolated homesteads were likely waking, preparing for a day of farming, hunting, or trading pelts. Children played by riverbanks, women fetched water, and men set out for the hunt, their lives dictated by the timeless rhythm of the taiga. The sky was clear, the sun beginning its climb, promising a warm summer day. There was an innocence, a peaceful unawareness to these moments, sharply contrasting with the immense unseen force hurtling towards them from the depths of space. The world was at peace, preparing for another ordinary day, utterly unprepared for the extraordinary. Then, without warning, the world tore itself apart. At approximately 7:17 a.m. local time, an unimaginable force ripped through the Siberian sky. Witnesses from hundreds of miles away reported a blinding flash of light, brighter than the sun, followed by an intense wave of heat that scorched the ground and momentarily blinded those who dared to look. Seconds later, a deafening roar, likened by some to the sound of artillery fire or a massive earthquake, reverberated across the taiga, shaking the ground violently. Homes collapsed, windows shattered, and people were thrown from their feet. One local farmer, standing on his porch 40 miles from the epicenter, recalled being blown into the air and briefly losing consciousness, feeling an intense heat as if his shirt was on fire. The ground trembled with such ferocity that seismic stations across Europe registered the shockwaves. This was not a localized event. It was a cosmic punch delivered to the Earth, felt by humans and the planet itself. In the immediate aftermath, the ground trembled with aftershocks and the air crackled with a strange electrical energy. Fires ignited across hundreds of square miles, sparked by the immense heat and the friction of falling trees, transforming vast swaths of pristine taiga into smoldering ruins. The
What
shockwave
has
itself
happened
was a
here?
force of nature,
I do not
flattening
know.
an estimated 80 million trees across an area of 800 square miles, over 2,000 square kilometers. Yet, remarkably, a small area at the very center remains standing, albeit stripped of branches and bark, resembling a telegraph pole forest. Witnesses recounted the sky glowing for days, a phenomenon later attributed to dust and ice particles high in the atmosphere, reflecting sunlight from beyond the horizon, indicative of the sheer volume of material ejected by the explosion. For those who survived nearby, it was a landscape of utter desolation, a testament to an unseen, unfathomable power. The world was scarred, and its secrets were only just beginning to unfold. The immensity of the Tunguska event, coupled with the profound isolation of its location, meant that it largely escaped the world's attention for years. News traveled slowly, if at all, to the academic and scientific communities of distant Europe and Russia. It was not until 1921, more than a decade after the explosion, that a Russian mineralogist named Leonid Kulik, driven by an interest in meteorites, read an old newspaper account of the phenomenon. Intrigued by the reports of a great explosion, he dedicated the rest of his life to investigating the Tunguska mystery. Kulik faced daunting challenges: the vast, unforgiving Siberian wilderness, extreme weather conditions, lack of infrastructure, and later the political turmoil of the Soviet era. His initial expeditions were hampered by these obstacles, but his unwavering determination set the stage for one of history's most enduring scientific quests, transforming a local legend into a global enigma. It wasn't until Kulik's third expedition in 1927 that he finally reached the true epicenter of the Tunguska event. What greeted him was a sight of bewildering and eerie beauty, a landscape unlike anything known to science. For miles around, the taiga forest lay flattened, an estimated 80 million trees felled with astonishing precision, radiating outwards from a central point like spokes from a giant wheel. Yet at the very heart of this destruction, a cluster of trees stood upright, eerily stripped of their branches and bark, resembling a desolate telegraph pole forest. The air hung heavy with a strange silence, the natural sounds of the forest replaced by the rustle of wind through skeletal trunks and the crunch of Kulik's boots on the disturbed earth. This wasn't a crater, a conventional impact site. It was a vast, geometrically precise pattern of devastation, a cosmic fingerprint left on the earth without a clear explanation. Kulik had found his explosion, but the mystery had only just begun. The most perplexing aspect of the Tunguska event, and the one that truly baffled Kulik and subsequent researchers, was the complete absence of an impact crater. Despite the colossal energy release and the widespread devastation, which implied the arrival of a substantial object, there was no crater. No telltale hole in the ground that should have been left by a meteor of such magnitude. Kulik, convinced he would find a meteoritic iron mass, tirelessly dug pits, drilled boreholes, and surveyed the ground for years, only to be met with frustration. His efforts yielded no large fragments, no definitive meteoritic material, just disturbed earth and the peculiar radial flattening of trees. This fundamental anomaly, immense destruction without a corresponding impact site, forced scientists to reconsider conventional theories and fueled the enduring mystery, pushing the boundaries of what was understood about cosmic impacts. The Tunguska event, devoid of a crater, quickly became a scientific anomaly, prompting a cascade of theories in the early 20th century. Scientists grappled with explaining how such immense power could be unleashed without leaving a conventional impact mark. Initial thoughts leaned towards an extraordinary atmospheric phenomenon or an unusual type of meteor. Some speculated about a bolide, a meteor that explodes in the air before hitting the ground. But the scale of Tunguska was unprecedented. The lack of fragments also pointed away from a typical iron meteorite. Could it have been an icy comet, vaporizing completely upon
No,
entry?
but
Or
consider the
perhaps a
effect of
stony
atmospheric
asteroid
drag.
that detonated
That's
in
a
the lower
minor
atmosphere?
variable. We must
Its
account for the
fragments so
initial
small they were
velocity.
impossible to find. These early theories, often based on limited data and the scientific understanding of the time, laid the groundwork for future investigations, each attempting to reconcile the visible destruction with the invisible culprit. Decades later, as scientific techniques advanced, further expeditions to Tunguska began to uncover more puzzling evidence. Analysis of tree rings in the surviving trees revealed anomalous radiation levels, suggesting exposure to high-energy particles at the time of the event. Microscopic spherical particles, rich in nickel and iron, elements commonly found in meteorites, were discovered in soil samples from the epicenter, though no large fragments were ever found. Genetic mutations and accelerated growth patterns were observed in the plants and insects of the affected area, hinting at an environmental impact far beyond mere heat and shockwave. These findings, while offering tantalizing clues, only deepened the mystery. They didn't conclusively point to a specific type of celestial body, and in some cases introduced new questions that even the most conventional explanations struggled to answer, inviting more unconventional interpretations. The most
This
widely
simulation
accepted
provides
scientific
compelling
theory
evidence
for
of
the
the event.
Tunguska event posits that it was caused by a large stony asteroid, or less likely,
An
icy
airburst
comet,
occurs high
which
in the
entered Earth's
atmosphere.
atmosphere and
The blast
exploded a
wave
few miles
propagates
above the ground.
downwards and
This
outwards.
airburst explanation accounts for the lack of an impact crater. The object disintegrated mid-air before hitting the surface, releasing its immense energy as a powerful shock wave. Computer simulations have shown that an object roughly 50 to 100 meters in diameter, exploding at an altitude of 5 to 10 kilometers, would produce an energy release equivalent to 10 to 15 megatons of TNT, enough to cause the observed radial flattening of
This
trees
simulation
and the
provides
widespread
compelling
devastation
evidence of the
without
event.
leaving a conventional crater. The superheated gases and plasma from the explosion would have
An
vaporized
airburst
the
occurs
object,
high in the
explaining the
atmosphere.
absence of large meteorite
The blast
fragments,
wave
while still
propagates
leaving behind
downwards and
microscopic
outwards.
traces. This theory effectively reconciles many of the perplexing observations. While the airburst theory holds considerable sway, the Tunguska event has always captivated the imagination, leading to a spectrum of more unconventional hypotheses. Some have proposed a mini black hole passing through Earth, leaving an entry and exit wound, but this idea has little scientific backing. Others ventured into the realm of antimatter, suggesting a fragment of antimatter collided with normal matter, annihilating itself in a burst of energy. The Cold War era even spawned theories of a secret weapon test gone catastrophically wrong, or an early form of nuclear detonation, though the blast's characteristics don't align with nuclear signatures. Perhaps the most persistent and intriguing alternative hypothesis, fueled by scattered eyewitness accounts of strange aerial phenomena, points to an extraterrestrial origin, an alien spacecraft exploding in the atmosphere. These theories, while largely unsupported by empirical evidence, highlight the enduring human desire to find explanations for the truly inexplicable. The human
Our
element of the
ancestors, they
Tunguska
often told
event is
stories of the
perhaps its
spirits of
most
the
poignant.
forest.
Eyewitness
They believed
accounts,
that
gathered
everything had
years
a
later
soul.
from scattered Evenk herders and Russian settlers, paint a vivid but often inconsistent picture. Some spoke of a bright light or fiery pillar in the sky, others a great noise or a terrible wind. Many mentioned feeling immense heat, being thrown off their feet, or seeing homes collapse. More peculiar accounts emerged, Seismic shocks
The
registered
Evenk
across
people
Europe.
call it
Abnormal atmospheric
terrible
phenomena
wind.
like glowing
And
night skies
how
observed in London and
folklore
other cities
often
days before
steps
and
in
after the
to
event.
fill
And
those
even
gaps
whispers
in
among the indigenous
understanding.
people of a sky god's wrath or a
Our
firestone from the
ancestors,
heavens.
they often told
These
stories of the
fragmented
spirits of the
testimonies,
forest.
passed down through
They
generations,
believed
were
that
filtered through
everything had a
fear,
soul.
cultural beliefs, and the simple difficulty of comprehending such an extreme event, adding layers of folklore and enigma to the scientific puzzle. Despite the prevailing airburst theory, the search for definitive physical evidence from the Tunguska event has continued for over a century. Expeditions,
Altitude
both
10 meters.
scientific and
Data
amateur,
stream stable.
still venture into the remote Siberian taiga, driven by the
Confirming
hope
geological
of finding meteoritic
anomalies.
fragments or other unique geological signatures. Modern techniques, including drone surveys, ground-penetrating radar, and advanced soil analysis, are now employed, allowing for a more thorough examination of the vast blast zone. While no large meteorites have ever been found, and the initial Kulik expedition's findings of slag-like stones proved inconclusive, some researchers report finding microscopic particles consistent with extraterrestrial origin, and others investigate potential impact scars like Lake Chaco, a small circular
Altitude
lake
10
that
meters.
some believe
Data
might be
stream
a
stable.
secondary impact crater. The enduring allure of the unknown
Confirming
keeps the
geological
quest alive.
anomalies.
Each new discovery, however small, potentially chipping away at the enigma. With the advent of powerful computers, scientists have been able to construct sophisticated simulations of the Tunguska event,
Look at that.
providing compelling evidence in favor of the airburst theory. These digital models incorporate known atmospheric conditions, the physics of meteoroid entry, and the mechanics of blast waves, allowing
unique
researchers to
event offered a
accurately
real-world
recreate the
test
observed
for our
pattern of tree
simulations.
flattening. The simulations
This
consistently
confirms our
show
initial
that a stony
hypotheses, you know?
asteroid,
The data
approximately
aligns
50 to
perfectly with
80 meters in
eyewitness
diameter,
accounts.
entering
We had a
Earth's
unified
atmosphere at a
conclusion
shallow
that-
angle and exploding at an altitude of 5 to 10 kilometers, would produce an energy release and the radial destruction pattern almost
Look at
identical
that.
to what was observed in 1908. While these models don't definitively prove the exact nature of the object, comet versus asteroid, they strongly support the airburst mechanism, providing a
This
robust
unique
scientific
event offered a
consensus that
real-world
demystifies
test for our
many aspects of the
simulations.
event, albeit not all. Despite the robust evidence supporting the airburst theory, the Tunguska event retains an enduring aura of mystery. The sheer scale of destruction, the unique flattening pattern, the microscopic anomalies, and the haunting absence of a crater ensure its place as one of the most enigmatic events in modern history. It serves as a potent reminder of Earth's vulnerability to cosmic impacts, highlighting the constant, unseen threats lurking in our solar system. The Tunguska event also challenges our understanding of extreme natural phenomena and pushes the boundaries of scientific inquiry. It is a story that continues to captivate scientists, conspiracy theorists, and the public alike, a cosmic puzzle whose final piece may forever remain just beyond our grasp, a testament to the vastness of the universe and the limits of human knowledge. The taiga has healed, but the questions linger, etched into the collective memory of science and legend.